Episode 145, Toilet Water Fight. Sue became extremely nervous as everyone looked at her. She clenched her fists and turned her head away. "I've lost my job," she tried to say calmly. "What?" Sarah slapped the coffee table heavily with her hand, making the glass on the table rattle. "When did it happen?" "It's been more than 3 months," she said timidly, her heart beating heavily. 3 months? Oh my, how have you been covering your expenses?" Sarah glared at her. This daughter of hers wanted to worry her to death. "I'm out of work," Sue said. Hearing her words, Sarah excitedly stood up and was about to slap her, but Rose stopped her in time. "You're such a bad daughter. You really make me worry. Really, this is such a big deal. You've been in this situation for so long and you didn't even tell us about it? You're not 16 anymore, you're 26. So even now you're still as arrogant as ever. Let's see how you're going to live in the future. Don't come asking me for money. I don't have any either," her mother cried. Sarah was furious. Her face was terrifyingly gloomy as she asked, "Is this the fault of that stinking brat? It must be him who caused you to lose your job. Tell me that you're looking for a new job and that everything will be fine from now on. That guy's already lied to you so much. What can you say to me now?" Sue sat on the sofa in silence with her head down. Her mother had never shown her any patience, which is why she hadn't told her that she was jobless. "Damn it, look at what he's turned Sue into. This person is really malicious," Sheldon said. Although Jade and Sue didn't have a particularly good relationship, Sheldon and Sue were on good terms. As a brother-in-law and the only man in the family, Sheldon naturally had to stand up for his sister-in-law. "Mom, that brat is in the bathroom right now. I'll go find this bastard and ask him if he has any plans for Sue. If he dares to mess around in front of me, I'll fix him." "Right, Sheldon, go to the bathroom and drag him out. You don't need to be polite with him. You just have to have control yourself and don't let anything happen to him. Just make that brat leave Sue of his own accord." Sarah felt that letting Sheldon solve the problem at that very moment for once and for all was a good idea. "I'll go with you. If that brat dares to resist, I won't be polite. I'll spank him." Gary also joined in the ruckus. If Alex broke off his relationship with Sue, it would make it easier for him to pursue her. "Good, you two go. You can do whatever you want, and you can use your manly methods to solve the problem," Sarah urged. "What are you doing? What does my lack of work have to do with him?" How could Sue not be anxious when she heard that Sheldon and Gary wanted to beat Alex up? She stood up and was about to stop her brother-in-law. "It has nothing to do with him? Sue, I think you've been brainwashed by that man." Sarah stopped Sue and looked at Sheldon. "Quickly, go find him. Don't worry about her." "Gary, let's go," Sheldon called out, and the two of them headed for the bathroom. "What are you guys doing? Come back here. It's none of his business." Sue panicked. She wanted to grab hold of Sheldon and Gary, but Sarah and Jade held her back. She wanted to break free, but she couldn't escape from their grasp. Let me go, get out of the way. You guys come back. My job loss has nothing to do with him." Sue was almost fighting with her mother and Jade. She shouted, "Alex, quickly leave. Go, go." "The reason you're so afraid is because you know that he's the culprit, right?" Jade hugged Sue and said, "That guy came to our mother's house today. Do you think we'll be able to make him leave?" She looked at Sheldon. "Hubby, Sue admits that the brat harmed her. There's no need to be nice to him." Rose anxiously stood beside Sue and everyone else. She didn't know what she could do. Seeing the 3 adults struggling, she could only say helplessly, "All of you, stop fighting. Please stop fighting." Sheldon and Gary had already reached the door to the bathroom. They saw a young man with his back to them, wearing earphones and listening to music while wearing plastic gloves to wipe the toilet bowl. Beside him was a bucket of water with a green rag. "Brat, you're intentionally pretending that you can't hear me, right?" Sheldon said. But the young man kept on cleaning the toilet. "Damn you, get him from me, Gary." Sheldon raised his chin toward Gary. and the two of them slowly approached the young man from behind with evil looks in their eyes. "Idiot. Before you even try to put on an act to melt Sue's heart, I'm gonna pour water over your head." Gary walked behind Alex and slowly squatted down. He lifted the bucket full of dirty water up and over Alex's shoulder. Sheldon gave him a thumbs up. Just as Gary was about to pour the water over him, Alex turned his head to reach for the green rag. Seeing the young man's face, Sheldon was shocked. He made a grab for Gary's arm that was holding the bucket. "Ah!" cried Gary. As Sheldon jerked his arm, the bucket tipped and completely drenched Gary from head to toe. The water went into his mouth as well. One could smell the detergent mixed with the dirt. As Gary spit the filthy liquid out of his mouth, his stomach rolled and he almost vomited on the spot. Alex and Sheldon only got a few splashes on their pant legs. "Why are you watering your own head? Damn, I got a kick out of that." Alex took out his earphones and looked at the rest of his body. Luckily, he wasn't wet. Why are you..." Only then did Alex notice that the person standing in front of him was Sheldon, who had begged him to rent him the villa. Sheldon smiled stiffly as Gary was standing beside him. He didn't dare to admit that he recognized Alex. When he was standing at the bathroom door, Alex had his back to him. Also, his clothes were very different from what he normally wore. Sheldon hadn't recognized him until he had turned around, and his heart almost flew out of his throat when he saw Alex's face. "What are you all doing?" Alex was curious as to why Sheldon and Gary were standing behind him. "Stinking brat, you lied to Sue. Sheldon and I are here to beat you up." Halfway through Gary's words, Sheldon's fist landed on his nose. He abruptly stopped speaking and let out a painful cry. "Why are you cleaning the toilet? Yeah, this is too rude. Please stop doing that." This was a very rich man, one who had bought 2 villas, including one worth $40 million, and there he was cleaning a toilet. Not to mention that Sheldon was also borrowing Alex's villa in the Green Island Garden District. It was like a huge joke. "Please come out," Sheldon said, throwing away the rag that Alex held in his hand and inviting him out of the bathroom. What's going on? Gary wondered. He had been drenched in toilet water, so he still didn't understand. What is Sheldon doing, he thought. He wiped himself with a towel and walked out of the bathroom. Sue and the other 2 ladies were still struggling with each other, while Rose stood to the side. She was unable to make a move. They saw Sheldon and Alex walk out of the bathroom with a smile. The 3 of them stopped. Sue and Sarah hesitated. Didn't Sheldon and Gary say they were going to beat Alex up in the bathroom? How come it seemed like Sheldon was trying to please him? Jade's heart skipped a beat. How could it be him, she thought. Rose also felt the same way. When she saw Alex, she had a strange feeling in her heart. Seeing that Jade was also there, Alex made the connection that Jade and Sue were related. He couldn't help but sigh. This was a small world. When he saw Rose, his gaze only paused on her for a moment before he looked away. Sheldon, he was the one who tricked Sue. Why are you treating him like this? Hurry up and kick him out. Sarah looked angrily at the contented smiles on their faces. She felt that Sheldon was being unreliable this time around. Sheldon couldn't think of what to say at that moment. He rolled his eyes as he walked over to Sarah with a fake smile. Mom, it might just be a misunderstanding. I think he's a pretty decent man. Yeah, Mom, didn't Sue say that Mr. Ambrose wasn't lying to her? Right, Sue? Jade also spoke up for Alex. Yes, he didn't lie to me. Sue was stunned, but she didn't understand why her sister would speak kindly on her behalf. Maybe we overthought this. Mom, please calm down first. Let's sit down and have a chat, Jade said, as it occurred to her that her sister should try to catch this billionaire. Sarah was also curious about the sudden change in the attitude of her daughter and son-in-law. She was reluctant to sit down with Alex, but she ended up sitting on the sofa. Alex, do you want to sit too? Jade asked carefully. Alex nodded and sat beside Sue. Seeing Alex sitting together with her aunt, and thinking about how he was now her aunt's boyfriend, Rose felt sad for some reason. She turned her head away and no longer looked at him. It's just this loser, so why should I care about him, she thought. Although she was comforting herself, Rose's heart was still a little messy. She felt as if she had lost something. Gary also walked over and explained why he was wet. He said he had accidentally fallen in the bathroom. He wanted to move a stool to sit next to Sue, but when he heard Sue's unintentional mutter about how smelly he was, he tactfully moved farther away from her. He gave Alex a look that was filled with anger. Sheldon originally wanted everyone to sit together and let Alex and Sue's matter pass, but Sarah still had a bad impression of Alex. Sheldon and Jade were also afraid that if they continued to speak up for him, it would arouse Sarah's suspicion and disgust. If they messed up a good thing, it would be bad news for their villa rental. Sheldon brought up a distraction just in time. It's almost noon. Mom, let's go to my villa. We'll have lunch together, Sheldon suggested as he looked at the others.